Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pixel Underground podcast. This week, we'll be talking about an upcoming game from Ubisoft called Skull and Bones. Want to talk about Skull and Bones first and foremost because I know that this is a game that's coming up that I'm very excited for. I know that you are not excited for it. Maybe not the opposite of excited. So this has been on my wish list on Steam for years. So kind of want to watch the trailer, which you can see on your end, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna watch this and then kind of react to it.
Where's the sound for it, though?
Society has rules.
I mean, I don't really need to hear it, but...
It decides where...
Oh no, does the sound not come through on the Discord?
Nope.
Oh, that sucks.
And what you're worth.
Not for the video.
Well, we can discuss visuals at least.
But you...
So I think it looks good.
Can chart a new course.
Well, that's a trailer. Of course it looks good. Do you have the gameplay later on?
Yeah, I think they've got a gameplay thing.
Even when death seems a certainty.
I mean, for a big cinematic trailer, but those are always look good. That's the thing. I don't necessarily judge by the trailer anymore.
True.
On the shores of a new world.
But the trailer does look damn good.
You awaken.
It's like New World all over again.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
You crash on a ship, you land on a freaking
More
beach.
determined than ever.
Yeah, but this one's got sharks.
Of your choice.
And you're a random guy with crazy hair.
See, now this is something that I'm wondering if you can, I don't know yet, but they kind of made it seem like you're going to be able to start out by like building a raft or a really tiny boat and then just kind of upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. You know what I mean?
I have to look. I did not really pay attention when the announcement went live. I had it playing. I just wasn't paying much attention to it. I did hear here and there what it was about. But later on it when we see gameplay.
Yeah.
I don't want to get
we'll
ahead
have to
of
look
myself.
in and see if that is definitely how it makes it seem. You know, the guy's on the island. He creates this raft or like tiny boat. And then the boat just gets like bigger and bigger, which would be amazing if you can do that.
I highly doubt it, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, it's not that it's not going to be amazing. More like,
we will take.
I doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, it might not. We'll have to
What's
see.
ours? Together.
I just realized I need to turn the volume down on the video so I can hear you over on the recording.
Well,
Society
I don't hear any sounds at all for the trailer. So all I hear is you.
That's probably like a nitro feature or something.
And what you're
I don't know. But I'm not giving Discord my credit card information just for because I have free Nitro month, but sitting somewhere. But the problem is that I'm not giving them my credit card information just to redeem that free stuff.
Well, Guilded, everything is free, but you don't want to use Guilded.
I might reinstall it. We'll see. Hopefully it's not gonna bite me in the butt later on.
Yeah. Okay, so trailer obviously looks good. Should we just watch the gameplay overview, or should we actually?
Yeah, let's watch the gameplay and then talk more about it. It's only 7.5 minutes.
Welcome to Skull and Bones. Our game takes place during the golden age of piracy.
There are a few things
in a world
that I've
inspired
heard
by the
that I know in advance about this game. I don't know if you know about
You'll
it.
start your journey as an outcast,
But it's
whose
gameplay
goal
related,
is to
so I didn't
become the
want to
most
get ahead of
infamous
myself.
pirate to sail
with
these
it.
treacherous waters.
Yeah, I don't know a ton, but
After surviving a shipwreck, you begin your adventure in St. Anne, one of the pirate dens in
There
our
are other
world.
reasons
Dens
why
are
I'm
centers
not
of
excited for
pirate
the game,
activity,
and that's
where you can
Ubisoft
craft new
themselves.
ships and equipment, provision
So
for
Right,
your
they
so-
play a major part in why I'm not getting this game.
yeah, it's just Ubisoft. Um, but it's not like they've never made a good game. I mean, they've made some
Well, problem
good
is,
games and some
I
that
don't
weren't
want
great.
to. I don't want to give them money for them to take that game away, because that's essentially what's happening to like 15 titles. And I don't
What do
know
you
if
mean?
they amended. Oh, you don't know.
I don't.
So 15 older titles will be completely decommissioned by Ubisoft, meaning you will be able, apparently, you will be able to download them or reinstall them or whatever, but only main game. They will lose all online features. If the game has multiplayer, that multiplayer will be disabled. Games like Space Junkies is going away completely because it's always live online game. That is going to be completely shut down.
Wow.
And any DLC access to any of the older games, there's like 15, there's like a whole list. You will lose access to those DLCs entirely. Even
Huh.
if you paid for them, they don't care. I know that they sold Assassin's Creed Liberation on summer sale on Steam
Right.
for whatever price, I don't know. And then they decided, oh, by the way, we're going to decommission it, so you will not be able to play it after September 1st. So that was a whole rage. And I
Well,
think
how do they keep you from playing it?
they're shutting down the servers.
Oh,
So
it's online.
basically-
Gotcha.
Yeah, the online part of it. But with Liberation, there was a lot of stink raised up about it because people have just bought it on summer sale, and they're like, well, we just bought it. What do you mean we cannot play it after September 1st? So apparently they're allowing people to play it, but online features are still going away. But like, for example, I have Assassin's Creed Revelations on my Ubi account. I will not have any access to its DLCs. There are like a couple of DLCs, maybe they're purely cosmetic, but I mean, I paid money for it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm not-
So it's
But, you know,
you paid
so
money
I'm-
and now you're not going to be able to access it. Yeah, that sucks.
yeah.
That's
So
pretty
I'm looking at the
awful.
perspective that I do not own games when I buy them from Ubisoft. So why should I be buying them games from them and just giving them money if they're gonna take it away later on? Like, screw
Right.
you guys. So that was my pretty strong reasoning. That is my pretty strong reasoning why I'm not gonna buy Skull and Bones. Why I will completely ignore next Assassin's Creed title. Besides it's being set in Japan, and I've already played a better game that is set in Japan that is like Assassin's Creed called Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
So why do I need the EC game if I already played something better?
Yeah.
So,
Now one thing
considering
the Skull and Bones thing, it's a naval combat kind of game, and there's not a lot of those out there. So I'm not sure if we could really find a better naval combat game necessarily.
I can name it right now.
What?
Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Oh yeah, well people say that, but is that being taken away?
Well, eventually, I mean, they're probably gonna do a remasters for those older titles.
Or what if they just delete it because they're coming out with Skull and Bones? So they just get rid of
It's
it.
possible, but I'm just saying that. I mean, I own Assassin's Creed Black Flag on a hard copy. I have a PS3 version of it
Right.
on disc. So Ubisoft can kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Over that one. But yeah, I don't need a pirate game when there's already a better pirate game. A worse Assassin's Creed game, in my opinion. A better pirate game.
Yeah.
So this is what essentially it is. However, here's how Assassin's Creed Black Flag better than Skull and Bones. In Assassin's Creed, you can actually get off your freaking ship and go exploring. Once you're on the ship in this game, in Skull and Bones, you cannot leave it.
You don't think you'll be able to leave the ship at all? I mean, it starts with you wandering around this town.
You cannot. That's what people have been saying. That's the main gripe that people have with it. They're like, why would we buy this game if there's Assassin's Creed Black Flag exists, where you can get off your damn ship and go explore the islands? Here in Skull and Bones, as far as it's been announced, islands are purely cosmetic thing in the background. You cannot leave your ship.
Okay, so you think this is more like a kind of like an on the rails RPG where you can only go to set locations?
Well, yeah, because people saying that this is a game is like visually it's better than Sea of Thieves, but it's worse functionally because in Sea of Thieves you can actually get off your ship and you go on the
Sea of Thieves kind of sucks though. I mean, you have to you
visually
can't like
it's
play
crap,
solo really. Yeah, visually, and then if you try to play solo, it's like you got to do one thing on one part of the ship and then run across and do another thing on the ship. So
yeah,
it's really awful solo.
But by comparison, you can get off your ship and go on an island physically.
True,
with your
but
character.
is that better if the islands are boring?
Well, what does it matter? In here, you cannot get off at all. You're basically you're stuck to your ship.
Sea of Thieves, you get off the island, and like I remember playing that for a while, and I would get off at an island and just look around, and there'd be nothing there. So it's like, well, what's the point?
And apparently, I'm not entirely sure on this one, but apparently you cannot even walk around your ship. So you're like glued to your steering wheel, and that's all you can do. You just steer your ship around the sea, and you just bomb other players, or I don't know, NPC and enemies or whatever.
Yeah, I hope that's not true, because it would be nice to be able to just set your course and then walk around the ship. For sure, that would be.
Yeah, but so far that's what people have gathered from the reveal, from all the content creators that they invited exclusively for the reveal event and what have you. That you cannot get off your ship, you cannot walk around your ship. You're basically, as soon as you're out of the hub, whatever area it is, it's similar like Guild Wars 2. Also, you have a public hub, which is like a town, whatever,
right?
And you meet players there and what have you. And apparently, as soon as you leave that hub, that's it. You are not going anywhere on the exploration. And I'm assuming if you're in PvE, you will not see any of the players beyond that hub, if I understood it correctly.
Okay.
I don't know about how PvP. I don't know how PvP is gonna function in that regard. I might be wrong, but that's the impression I got.
Yeah. So do you think it's
revealed?
So do you think it's going to be like instance PvP as opposed to like open world PvP?
Maybe.
Okay. Let's go ahead and watch the gameplay trailer to see if they talk about any of these things. Because I feel like I haven't consumed enough content now that we're talking about it.
Traditions at sea, pick up contracts, and socialize with other players.
I'm going to turn this down a little bit.
Any pirate worth their salt will tell you that preparation is key to success. Get ready for any challenges that come your way.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know. It might be my internet that is just crapping itself out.
Yeah.
Possible.
Once you're set, it's time to head out and explore.
Okay, yeah. So it's showing.
Pirate, you'll only have access.
It showed you going up and grabbing the steering wheel, so that might be all you get. I don't know.
But as you progress, you'll be able to craft different ships, each with their own unique playstyle. At sea, you'll need to pay close attention to the condition of your ship and the morale of your crew. Your crew are a pack of vicious raiders and rovers who will mutiny against you, if not kept well-fed and happy.
Okay, so what I got from that is that, actually I should not end it on a black screen. But what I got from that little segment was that it's more of a like a management system. Like you upgrade your ship, you get the better ships, but then you got to manage like the crew and stuff. So
I guess, I mean, I couldn't see some of it because it's just pixels.
Oh yeah, we'll have to figure out. I mean, this is the first episode, so tech wise, I'm sure we can figure out something that works better.
Well,
but
maybe next time we'll try Gilded.
Yeah, that might work better. But you know what? We'll figure it out. It doesn't have to be perfect right away. We just got to get started. But yeah, so if your crew, you got to manage them, keep them happy. Your crew can mutiny. You got to manage the ship, make sure everything's good with the ship. So yeah, it definitely sounds more of like a, you upgrade your ship and then manage your ship and your crew, as opposed to just like a regular open world RPG type of deal.
You can also play Pillars of Eternity 2 for that.
Oh, is that the one that I think that's
You
the one
get
that I
this
played where you sail around the whole time, right?
Yeah, well, not the whole time, but yeah, and it has the same thing. You manage your crew, otherwise they're gonna be unhappy, they're gonna get sick and die or whatever.
Yeah, I loved that game. That was like
I
my
actually
one of my
got bored
favorite
with
games.
it. But
Yeah,
anyway, so when you say that in that regard, that's exactly immediately the game that I thought about.
yeah. All right, I'll play this.
6. You'll lose some progress and respawn at the nearest discovered den or outpost. The good news is that most of your cargo will be recovered, and you'll have the opportunity to retrieve the rest from the wreckage. But you'd better be quick, as other players can also steal it.
Okay, so when you die, you leave some cargo behind, and other players can grab it. So you can go back and get it, but other players can grab. But it's not like your whole inventory, so that's good. If it was your entire inventory, I would be worried about that. Especially if it's gonna be. I gotta see what they say about PvP, because if it was like a full loot PvP, I'd be out immediately. I hate full loot PvP. If it's like partial
Oh,
loot
yeah,
PvP, huh?
I would not play PvP game at all. I don't like
Yeah.
PvP.
Well, like forced PvP, yeah. I don't typically play those games either. I like instance PvP where I don't have to worry about it, but it's still there as an option that I can do every once in a while. That's really what I prefer. Okay,
As a
so
pirate captain, your reputation is everything, and our game tracks this through infamy. The higher your infamy,
you got a pretty
the more
interesting
opportunities
reputation
you'll
system.
get. One of the many ways to grow your infamy is to take up contracts.
But I mean,
These are
visually,
deals that
game
you
is
can
also
make with
kind
other
of
pirates in the world.
considering it's
Contracts
been
can
in
have great
development at
rewards if
least
you're
9 years,
successful,
and
or
at least 6
costs
years
if
ago,
you
I heard
fail.
about it for the first time.
You can
Yeah.
also gain infamy by
So,
completing
I
other
mean,
activities, such as
With
exploration,
all the next gen
plundering,
crap, I
treasure
expect
hunts,
to see something better.
investigations, dynamic
Yeah,
events,
I mean, I
and
think it's been
much
on my
more.
wish list for
You
like
can
5 years.
undertake these either solo or with other players. The world of Skull and Bones is filled with riches and resources that you'll be able to gather as you explore. Lagoons and rivers are teeming with
And
dangerous
yeah, in Assassin's
wildlife
Creed Black
that
Flag, you can
hunt
go
for animal skins
fishing,
and meat.
or hunting, or whatever.
You'll also be able
for
to
like
harvest
sharks
a
and
variety of
whales
raw
and
materials,
what have you.
such as ore and wood, that can be refined
So
and
Yeah.
used
that's
for
what I'm saying. Like,
crafting.
they lifted lots of ideas from
Crafting
that
is an
game,
essential activity for you
but
to
at the same
progress
time,
as
they
an
managed to make it
infamous
worse
pirate.
Well,
somehow.
well, I mean, it's their game, kind of, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I don't really mind if a game kind of takes an idea from another game because that idea worked really well. But yeah, it does suck if they take the idea and then it's done worse. But
I mean,
I mean,
it's their own game. It's like Ubisoft owns both, so just take the systems from Assassin's Creed Black Flag at that point, throw out the Assassin's Creed part of it, and leave everything else in. Plus, they had a fairly decent naval battle even in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So, I don't know. I mean,
yeah. From what I've seen so far, though, I haven't seen anything that would deter me from at least trying the game. Because some things it kind of looks like, with the fishing, hunting kind of deal, like that could be fun. It could be awful. I'm not actually sure just by looking at it. I feel like I would have to play it, see how it feels, see how it, because they show a couple second clip of you throwing a spear at an alligator. And it's like, okay, well, if it works well, that could be really fun. If it's really clunky and like really hard to do, then that could be miserable. So, yeah,
that, by the way, reminds me of Far Cry Primal.
I never played that.
Actually, not a bad game. I
Okay.
had fun with it.
All right.
Obtain blueprints and use your refined resources to craft stronger ships, weapons, and armors.
See, crafting ships is a big
In
pull
Skull
for
and
me because I
Bones,
love
ships
old-timey
serve many
ships like
different
that.
purposes. Cargo ships are slower, but useful if you need to transport large volumes of loot.
And that reminds me of Albion, where you have the
Never
different
played it.
mounts. Yeah, well, in that game you have different mounts for different purposes. So like you have your ox can carry a ton of stuff, but it's a lot slower. So if you need to transport things from like one town to the next, or if you're out gathering or whatever, you want to take your ox, but you got to worry about, if you go through a PvP zone, you're not going to be able to get away very quickly. So I always thought that was really cool. If they're talking about different types of ships, you got like a hauler ship where, okay, I'm kind of vulnerable, but I'm carrying a ton of weight. So maybe one guy takes a hauler, and then maybe your friend takes like some kind of battleship or whatever. That would be really cool. I like mechanics like that, except for the fact that it's not very solo friendly. But I mean, if you've got friends, then things like that tend to work really well and to be really fun.
Navigation ships sail faster, but have less cargo space and lower hull HP. Firepower ships have more gun ports, allowing you to deal higher damage, but are more challenging to maneuver. Similarly, you can craft a wide array of unique weapons and armors, from Greek fires to giant ballistae.
Okay, so you got different ships for different situations, all kinds of different weapons,
which have varying strengths and weaknesses against incoming attacks. With your new fleet and growing arsenal, create a loadout based on your personal playstyle.
I haven't heard him yet.
Force of destruction.
Okay, good. Means noise gate is working.
Yeah.
Out in the open ocean, opportunities and threats are abundant. Use your spyglass to identify lucrative trade routes or wealthy merchant ships, and assess your prey's cargo and firepower. Strategize a plan of attack based on your opponent's defenses and take advantage of their weak points to deal more damage. Sinking your foes from afar rewards you with only a portion of their cargo, as some of it will be lost to the depths. Getting in close to execute a boarding maneuver will help maximize your gains. But beware, you can turn from predator to prey in a heartbeat if you attract the unwanted attention of privateers, the merciless pirate hunters that patrol the seas. If you enjoy the thrill of the hunt, you can also seek out other players and rain terror on them. Such PvP battles are high-stakes activities that can be rewarding if you emerge victorious.
So that made it sound like PvP is not necessarily optional. I think basically you're just gonna have to keep an eye out for other players and kind of keep your distance if you don't want to risk a fight. You know what I mean?
Well, that's gonna turn into a grief fest.
Probably, yeah. That's what open world PvP usually turns into. So it wasn't necessarily specified. She just said, you can also attack other players, which is high risk, possibly high reward.
Yeah. Well, I have it playing on my second monitor just at the same time as yours, so I can hear what is being said.
Okay, yeah, that works.
So,
yeah,
but
yeah,
go ahead.
open world PvP is almost never a good idea. And I think a great example of that would be Arcage, which was absolutely a grief fest. You'd be leveling like a level 20 something character, and they would have the story quest take you into a PvP zone, because they had zones where PvP was open world PvP, and then zones where there was no PvP. And then they'd have you run into these zones, and there'd be high level players waiting by the quest NPCs just because they're bored and they know that new players are going to try to run up and talk to the NPC, and then they'll kill you real fast.
I can give you an even worse example than that.
Really?
GTA Online.
What is it?
GTA Online. Grand Theft Auto Online.
Oh, yeah.
It's awful. If you're doing your jobs and you are forced to do your jobs in a public map, so you can go private map if you want,
right?
But you cannot do your jobs, which for your business is to make money in the game. So you're forced to run it in the public, and then if people kill you, they destroy your cargo, hence you lose money. So, and of course, people who spend a lot of money with their credit card in there, they of course own the rocket tanks and what have you, everything the heart desires. Yep. And additionally, modders and cheaters, there's that as well. So in a lot of cases, that game is just horrid if you try to be a free to play player.
Yeah, I mean that's how it goes, and that's the worst possible combination is when you have a cash shop plus PvP. So now if they did PvP zones that I don't have to go into, like Albion Online has the starter zones or whatever, and then they've got the PvP zones, and you never have to go into the PvP zones if you don't want to. So I never even PvP'd in that game because I just always want to gather and craft and stuff like that.
This
So if
video
they
is
did something
very
like that, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, this video is very vague, but I think some people were saying that there will be PvP and PvE servers, but I'm not entirely 100% sure about that one.
Okay. Yeah, now that would be another good option because I would happily go into a PvE server and never have to worry about it. But yeah,
Mm.
I mean, griefing is just, it's always going to be a thing. That's just humans. If you give them any level of power over someone else, they're going to exercise it in the worst way possible. So, you know,
You should read the comments later on.
yeah, for sure.
From your spoils of battle, personalize your individual look with outfits that command respect.
Probably for a price.
Right, I was just thinking that's
You
going
can
to be
also
the cash
select
shop
from
right
a
there.
multitude of ship customization options
Same,
to
cash
instill
shop.
fear in your enemies.
Yeah, so cash shop is going to be outfits and ship customizations like sail patterns, the little
Probably.
decorations.
I would not be surprised if the cash shop is gonna include also power play, where it's gonna become pay to win essentially,
Yeah.
where you buy like game affecting
Yeah,
boosts.
actually, I
Because
think
Ubisoft is known for that, even for single player games, let alone for multiplayer like that.
yeah. So I just remembered cuz I have not pre-ordered this game, but I did look at it on Steam and I can pull it up later. But to double check, but I'm pretty sure I remember there being like a deluxe version or something where you get an outfit and some ship decorations, so like your steering wheel can be made of skulls and stuff like that. So we're already seeing the monetization there.
Mhm.
So that'll be fun.
Why I don't see Skull and Bones on Steam? How?
With the wind in your sails, journey
I
to
can
the
pull it up
furthest
later.
reaches of the Indian
Yeah,
Ocean,
'cause
from
for some
the
reason
coast of Africa
I
to
don't
the
see
East
it.
Indies. Encounter extreme weather events like violent
Weird.
storms and monstrous rogue waves.
All right, well,
Keep your eyes peeled for outposts, which are safe spots where you'll be able to dock your ship for a short rest from the perilous seas. Here, you can trade with traveling merchants and clandestine smugglers selling rare and illegal goods. Uncover buried bounties at outposts as you decipher treasure maps obtained through your voyages. Although all the content in Skull and Bones can be done solo, you might enjoy ruling the seas with your friends. While sailing, you can also easily invite other pirates you encounter to group up. Synergize your different playstyles, ships, and weapons to defeat deadlier enemies. As you grow stronger, take on more difficult challenges, such as attacking forts and plundering settlements. And, if you're bold enough, engage in dynamic events, like taking down heavily laden merchant ships and their fleet of warship escorts.
Okay, so having dynamic events is something that obviously you and I have both seen in Guild Wars 2, and we've seen it work really well. So if they do that right, that could be super, super fun.
not in
Um,
PvP, it won't.
yeah, true.
There's one more thing. One more thing that I remember from watching this, by the way. When you do the whole attack the other ship, blah blah blah. If I recall correctly, in Black Flag and both Odyssey, you can actually board the ship and sink it that way. You kill enemies on it, and you loot 2 chests or 1 chest, depends. I don't remember how Black Flag did it. Or you can just barrage through the ship and sink it and get resources that way. You cannot board a ship in this game. It will only be a cutscene.
Right.
You
Yeah.
physically do not do anything if you choose to board the ship. You yourself as a player don't do anything. It's just a cutscene playing out.
Yeah, that is kind of a letdown. Um, it's weird because it's like once you board the ship, it's like the ship is your character basically. Is kind of how it seems to me. So it's like you can perform actions with the ship, but it's almost like you are the ship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense. If you're gonna include the boarding idea into a game, you already have the actual mechanics of boarding a ship. Because when you rule a ship and you are at the what do you call it? The one that you turn the ship left and right.
Oh, I don't know.
The steering wheel,
Oh,
essentially.
yeah. That's what
So,
I've been calling it. I don't remember what it's
when
called.
you're at the steering wheel of a ship, say in Odyssey or in Black Flag, you cannot like let an NPC rule it and while you walk around, or even if you put it on the autopilot, you still have to steer it.
Right.
But you can actually get off the ship in both games, and you can board. When you board the ship, your character boards the ship. So question is, why do you have all this customization you go through, all this headache creating your character, and then you cannot do anything with it?
Yeah,
There is no melee fights in Skull and Bones. So the only thing you have is a naval fight. That's it. But you have melee fighting, gunplay in Black Flag and in other games, but mainly we're drawing parallels with Black Flag here.
right.
They already have these systems. They own the rights to that game. Pull it up from that game, make it better, improve it to work on more modern system or engine or what have you, and then go from there. But at least it will add some variety to the game. Let people get off the ship. Make the ship only a semi part of you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they
I mean,
decided to merge you into one being, with you being unable to do anything else besides just roaming the sea. You're like
right.
Davy Jones. You can go on
Yeah.
land once every 10 years.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it would be more interesting to be able to do those things. I'd say not a deal breaker for me, I don't think. I'd like to think maybe they'll add that stuff later on. I mean, it's only been like 6 years. Maybe they haven't had time. But
Apparently it's been 9 years of development hell on
oh my
there with
god.
this
Okay.
game.
Well, at that point, I kind of feel like I really hope they have something good here. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if you work on something for 9 years and it just sucks, then oh man, what have you been doing?
It's Ubisoft. I don't expect anything from them anymore.
Yeah.
And then they destroyed the Division franchise. For me personally, I think Division is a shallow shadow of its former self, of what made it actually good, and now they're porting it to mobile. Let's not forget, by the way, that they're turning more to mobile market than they do to PC market.
True.
A lot of their titles are going mobile, and I'm like, yeah, well, bye.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if this will go mobile.
I would not be surprised. The cash.
Yeah, because it would be pretty simple just to sail a ship around and shoot cannons and stuff, probably. Maybe that's why you can't board other people's ships or get off on islands.
I don't know.
And make it too hard to port to mobile.
I personally think that the potential of this game was really good.
Yeah.
There's from what I know about it, they're squandering it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And in the end, for 2022, 2023, this game is like a decade late. Maybe a decade ago, it would have been something groundbreaking-ish, but not in this day and age.
Yeah, I think I can agree with you on that. So I have a huge love for these types of like old ships, naval battles, and things like that. So I feel like I'm probably gonna want to try it pretty much no matter what. And, at least play for like an hour and a half, so I can get that Steam refund if I hate it, you know what I mean? But
I
yeah.
mean, I could probably come up with a bunch of ideas that could make the game better if they only threw out this stupid always live service part and make it into a solid single player offline game where you play as a pirate. The hell with it. You want to be a pirate? Fine, screw it.
Yeah.
You're a pirate.
Yeah,
But I
I really
mean,
do want to be a pirate.
with all the aesthetics and what have you, you name your character all you want, and then they could just make it into a solid um, game of Chirca Pirates of the Caribbean kind of timeline. And you go there and you deal with the companies that are just setting up, and you're just discovering new worlds, and I don't know, discover America for all I care. But like, I think it would have been better if it was a single player game to begin with a solid story attached to it, with like ship customizations and what have you. Everything they've shown, just throw out the multiplayer out of it, give it
Right.
decent story, and there
Yeah,
you go.
because there's really no story, pretty much no story here, right? I mean, I haven't really seen much of
As
anything
far
about
as
a
I
story.
understand, there isn't any. You just have a ship and you just.
Ooh.
As far as I know, I don't know. Maybe there is a story somewhat, but then we know how that turned out for New World.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. New World, yeah, I started with the alpha and then played the beta and then played the preview and then the next beta. I mean, I played like every test there was, and it was really interesting because there really wasn't a story at first, and they've kind of gone back and kind of injected
Made
some
a crappy
story
one.
into it, but it's not anything like, when you play an MMO, we expect things like Guild Wars 2 or Final Fantasy 14 or something with like a real deep story lore. You want to learn everything about that world and the entire world. I mean, when you build a world, you have to build a world. So, and that's harder to do with fantasy because it's, I mean, on one hand, you can just make everything up, but on the other hand, it's kind of hard to create a world starting from scratch. So,
Honest with you, I kind of feel like this game is gonna be akin to what was it? Hood Adventures. What was that game? You group up with people and you go against two teams against each other, and you need to steal a chest of gold or whatever, and then the groups have to fight it out between each other. Whoever wins that gold, yada yada yada.
yeah, I have no
I
idea.
feel like it's gonna be that game kind of tanked pretty badly because people stopped playing it. Without multiplayer, there's not much you can do, and I feel like a lot of things like this will happen to this game, where you will end up being on your own with NPCs way too difficult for you. Hello, my Fallout 76.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a
And
good point with multiplayer games is if you couldn't take that game offline and still have a good solid game, then it's going to end up being a shit game at some point. Because the player base is going to fall off. And I think New World is a great example of that. New World would be a terrible game to play by yourself. And that's pretty much what's happening because so many players have quit.
Why would be? It is.
Right, yeah. Yeah. That's fair. So yeah, if there's no story or if it couldn't basically just be because that's one of the reasons that I think Final Fantasy 14 is a good example of a game that if it was not online, if you took it offline and took out all the multiplayer functions, the dungeons and raids and stuff, you would still have a solid game that you could play by yourself. And I mean, Guild Wars 2 basically, except it's kind of difficult. So it'd be really hard to play everything by yourself. But yeah, and then New World, you couldn't do that at all.
Well, I mean, Guild Wars 1 did it fairly well. You could just have your own party of NPCs and you just go and explore.
Yeah,
if
true.
they're gonna be adamant of having hubs where it's the only place where you meet people, as far as I understand anyway, I might be wrong on that one, but that's the impression I got. Then why not just make the game a similar design to Guild Wars 1?
Right. Or, I mean, They could even make this like that Pathfinder game, where if there's a story and you go around from place to place, and every place you go, you've got some enemies to defeat, and then maybe you get off your ship and go inside and clear like a fortress or something. I mean,
You mean Pillars of Eternity?
yeah, what did I say?
Pathfinder.
Oh, yeah, it was Pillars of Eternity. My bad.
I was like, for a second, I don't remember that in Pathfinder.
Yeah, my bad. Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, I think there could be at least 1,000 ways how they could do it and make it actually a good game. But so far, they've taken the idea of a game and then that it already exists for God knows how long, at least a decade, more than that probably. Black Flag came out in like 2013, I think.
Yeah.
They could take that, they took that idea and they made it worse, where they should have taken the idea and made it better, grow from there, instead of the other way around.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I feel like I can't really make a final judgment until I try it. So, I mean, I think that we've both made some really fair points during this podcast, but I'm still almost certainly going to at least try it and see, because it could end up being really fun. And at the end of the day, I mean, that's all I really want from a game, is just for it to be fun and for me to have a good time, and hopefully for longer than like a week. You know what I mean?
Well, if you're gonna stream it, I'm gonna watch it at your expense.
Yeah. Yeah, sit there and make fun of me while I'm playing it. Oh, I got 24 seconds left in this video. I'm going to let it play out real
Now,
quick.
it's up to you to write your own story. Remember, there is no one path to follow, no one way to play. The world of Skull and Bones is yours to discover.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's certain things that we kind of need to find out. I mean, yeah. The first comment on this video is, "It's okay, everyone. Shipboarding, melee combat, and island exploration will be available in the DLC pack. You will only need to wait 3 years for it." Oh god.
Pretty much. I agree.
Yeah, but I mean, if everybody in the community is saying the same things, then I feel like, I mean, it could go either way. They could say, "Oh wow, everyone's saying the same things. Maybe we should do the things they're talking about." And then it could be really successful. Or they could pull a Blizzard and be like, "Nah, man, them players don't know what they're talking about. They think they know, but they don't. They don't know what they want." And then they'll just tank their own game.
I agree when somebody says this looks like a huge opportunity lost with more disappointments than enjoyment. I agree.
Yeah, it very much could be.
Like, pirating world in a video game setting has almost unlimited potential to make it fun.
True.
But give it to Ubisoft. Or should say, leave it to Ubisoft to make it crap.
Yeah. Now,
but that's my opinion.
Right. So, I mean, it just seems like the game almost entirely focuses on naval battles. And I feel like that could be still really fun, but it's, you know, if you only have that one thing to do, and, you know, how long is that going to keep you entertained? You go around for, let's say, over a period of a week, you spend 30 hours going around destroying merchants and upgrading your ship. You know, I'm sure some people at that point would be like, "This is amazing, I'm going to keep going." But I feel like a lot of people would fall off after that. Like, okay, well, I, you know, killed a bunch of merchants, upgraded my ship, I'm good.
Well, you also have to pose a question in front of you is why you're doing it. It's the same thing that I had with Tiny Tina's Wonderland. You have this end game loop where you go into this procedurally generated chaos chamber, and it's like several encounters that is similar to what you do in the game as you go through it. You kill enemies, and then you just claim the chest, and you go through a portal to the next encounter and the next encounter and so on. And then those chambers contain legendaries that you will not find anywhere else in the game. But I found myself asking myself a question: why am I doing this? What is the end goal for it? I have all these weapons. What am I going to use them on? I
Right.
don't have post Chaos Chambers content. Like, they have DLCs, but those are crap, and I'm not paying $30 for it for like a 10-minute DLC or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I would just found myself asking is like, okay, I would do this if I had an end goal to it. So I would gather these weapons and then, I don't know, face some kind of end game boss of some kind. But the bosses you face in those chambers are the bosses from the game. And it's just on loop, and then you just eventually you're sitting there like, okay, I have all this crap and I have nothing to use it on. It's gonna be the same thing with this game, unless they add some kind of modes, which I don't know what kind of a game mode they can add that would justify you spending all this time on upgrading your ship, on making your dudes happy, whatever else was in there. But eventually there's no end goal. It's gonna become pointless and people are gonna get bored.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And it's kind of like, how long is the average player going to play this game that they paid, what, $60 for?
70, probably. I think they said 70.
Ooh, man.
I look on Steam, because I'm pretty sure that people were complaining about them raising a bar by $10 to 70, because Ubisoft and somebody else keeps pushing this idea. Activision, either Activision or Rockstar, I forget who. They keep pushing the idea of raising the minimum price for video game, the AAA title, that is, from 60 to 70. And I know that there was a stink about it, but I'm pretty sure it was Skull and Bones.
Let me load up Steam and I'll take a look at it, because I don't remember now. I remember there being like two different versions. So I thought it was like a 60 and a 70 or something like that. So it'll take me a minute to get Steam open, because I got Steam on my external.
Yeah, it's fun.
Haven't moved any of that over to my new hard drive yet, but okay. So I think it's still on my wish list. Oh, maybe not. I'll just search it.
Why I cannot see it?
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah, oops, that's my library.
I'm very confused. Because, like, even ignored games that I have from Ubi, I can still see them on the list. But Skull and Bones is here.
Yeah, weird. I'm not seeing it either. It's not on my wish list, and I searched the store and I'm not seeing it. So why?
They're probably making it. Hang on. I'm trying to minimize my Discord without closing it. I think they might be making it UB exclusive.
Huh.
That would be a kick in the ass.
Yeah, I guess they must have, because I mean, I didn't take it off my wish list, and
It was on Steam. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
maybe
100%. I'm 100% positive it was on Steam, because like I said, I've been following it for years, and after I saw the video the other day, I went and looked at it on here. And I was like, I had that impulse moment of, should I go buy this game right now? And thank God I didn't. But that's so weird, because they had a deluxe version that had all the cosmetics and stuff. So yeah, I just searched it like a couple of days ago, maybe like a week ago or something. Because I remember looking at the cosmetics. Man, that's so weird.
Let me check something here real quick.
Okay.
So people ask, will Skull and Bones be on Steam? Skull and Bones, Ubisoft's long-awaited open world pirate simulator, is coming out on November 8th, 2022. It's due to hit Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, Steam, the Epic Games Store, Google Stadia, and Amazon, whatever the hell that is, as well as Ubisoft Connect. Well, my Ubisoft Connect fell asleep, apparently. I can't open it. But it says Steam. If you look at the trailers, see if it has Steam anywhere indicated in them. Because even if they removed, they have to re-upload the video.
Yeah, I mean,
Steam powered. Ubisoft claims again that Skull and Bones are coming out, but that seems to be this article.
yeah, I don't.
It has, funny enough, I found the freaking discussion section for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the tags,
But it doesn't have a store page.
In the tags on YouTube, it has PlayStation 5, Google Stadia, Xbox Series X and Series S, Windows, Amazon Luna.
Okay, so one of the general discussions has a topic in it from February 24th. And it's gone. Not a surprise, but the entry was removed from Steam. I want to see newer Ubisoft games on Steam, but yeah. But what? Was it in an added bag and removed again?
Yeah, I mean, Skull and Bones is definitely not on Steam, so.
Is it on Epic Game Store?
I don't have Epic right now. I haven't re-downloaded it since my hard drive got wiped.
Ubi Connect is stuck looking for patches, so. Screw you, I guess, Ubi. Oh, come on. Why everything needs to update when I need it, like, on the fly?
Yeah, it's
Suddenly,
always like that, isn't it?
Everything. Oh, God, I need to update. Like, you couldn't... like, why?
Yeah, I do that all the time where I'll put off an update and then I put it off to the last possible minute, and then the last possible minute is right when I need it.
Mm-hmm. Well, my Epic is updating, so I'd have to wait for that one to see if it's there, because I wonder if they did an exclusivity deal with Epic Game Store, but then is it coming out on PlayStation and Xbox? If it's an Epic exclusivity, it shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can open up PlayStation Store online on the Windows, so I don't have to go and turn on my stuff, my actual PS. Let's see. Oops.
Well, it's not in the Microsoft store.
Oh, see, I put Skull. Oh, yeah, it is on the on PlayStation Store, and it's $69.99 regular edition and $99.99 premium edition.
Oh my god!
This is pre-order, so.
Okay, so it's not on Steam, not on the Xbox. Well, it's not on the Microsoft Store.
Well, so we're about to see if it's on Epic still, because I know for a fact that it was on Epic. I saw it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far it's on PlayStation, so it cannot be, unless they did it exclusive for PC for Epic and then exclusive for PlayStation for consoles. Because I don't have an Xbox, so I was never interested in that.
Yeah, maybe they decided to go console only or something weird. I don't. I mean, it
All
just
right,
doesn't make
where is
sense
this?
that after they announce the release, they've got it on Steam where you can go in and buy it, and then suddenly it's not on Steam anymore. I mean, that makes
Okay, it's
no
on
sense to
Epic.
me. It's on Epic?
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
So I don't know. It makes me wonder if they did a exclusivity deal
Yeah,
for
maybe.
PC on Epic, and then PlayStation on and it's only PlayStation 5 too, so it's not gonna be on PS4. So even if I wanted to play it on PS4, I would not be able to.
Right. Well, I feel like that's sketchy. I feel like it's really sketchy to have something on Steam for years and then announce it and then allow people to pre-order it and then take it off Steam. Hopefully no one pre-ordered it on Steam, and if they did, I hope they got their money back. But yeah, I don't know how they would even handle that. I don't remember ever
Well,
seeing a game.
technically, I think Steam would have to return them the money.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever remember seeing a game do that. So that's pretty weird. Okay. Well, if it's not on Steam, I probably won't play it. Maybe I'll play it off Epic, but I don't know, man. $70.
Yeah,
70
according
bucks
to
is huh?
July 7th, according to PC Games, Skull and Bones release date, Epic Games Store in November. They're calling it an MMO. Ugh.
What?
Ubisoft making an MMO is like a nightmare. A disaster recipe.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at this article here for PC games. But I'd have to coming out, and is it an Epic Store exclusive? Question mark.
I really
would be
don't know
nice.
if you could call that an MMO.
For some reason, it almost looks like half of the stuff was cut off here. But I don't know. They don't answer that question though. Is it exclusive?
Well,
Okay. Wait. They literally said they literally made a clickbait title because they asked the question in the article and they never answered it.
Huh. Well, I don't know if I necessarily call it exclusive, but it's just not on Steam anymore. So
If it's only available on 2 platforms, then yeah, it's an exclusivity deal.
yeah.
Which
All right.
one would ask, like, why UB needs any more money?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's just real fucking sketchy to release the info about the game and then go exclusive with somebody and pull off of other platforms that you already put the pre-orders on. I mean, to me, that's super sketch.
I understand if a small dev does that, because I think that's what happened to Hitman 3.
Yeah.
Because their publisher dropped them and they had to scrounge, essentially.
Oh, well, that's totally different, though.
And they had to take the exclusivity. They were heated off for it, but they had to take the exclusivity because they had to be money smart in that point.
Right.
Which I really don't blame them. I mean, I saw the game. I'm not gonna buy it because I didn't like it, but I like Hitman 2, but I didn't like Hitman 3. But I kind of understand that case. But with somebody like Ubisoft, like, guys, how much money do you guys need? Like, you already have enough.
Yeah,
So,
they definitely don't need the money. Yeah, that's 2 totally different situations. Yeah, I don't know. At this point, you know what's funny is the beginning of this podcast, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch these videos and get hyped and probably annoy Shadow. And now at the end of it, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm gonna play this game.
I guess it's Nate 0, Shadow 1.
Yeah, Shadow has rained on my pirate parade.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's Ubisoft's fault. And honestly, I was all for trying it if it was $60 on Steam. But I don't know, man. $70 on Epic. Yeah, I don't know.
Even if it's a year exclusivity or 6 months exclusivity, whatever, it's gonna be $70 on Steam probably.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna try and push it.
Right. I'll probably wait for it to go on sale. If I can get this game for like $40, I'd probably be happy to try it. So I think that's my final verdict. Wait for it to go on sale and then try it.
That would be smart.
Yeah.
But again, I'll watch you suffer. So I can say I told you so at the end of it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we just hit an hour talking about this. I didn't think we were going to talk about that.
You wanted an hour, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the old recording, and then we can edit it up and get it posted.
Alrighty.
Thanks for listening, everyone. And if you like this kind of content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And we will be coming out with a new episode of the podcast every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern. Hope to see you around.